Welcome to Rising Tides Live. I'm coming to you from Vratsa, Bulgaria. I am with my co-host today, Scot Turner from London, England. Welcome to the show. Thank you guys for being here. Today's topic is going to be post-production speed. The entire episode, we want to talk about speed. How do you use speed in your business? How do you think about speed? Scott and myself, we just had a family vacation thanks to this community, thanks to LinkedIn, thanks to the power of digital hospitality. We got to go to the Black Sea in Bulgaria together. And this episode is about speed. So we're going to share a little bit behind the scenes of the YouTube content that we filmed together as a family, what the episode was about, but more importantly, how as two YouTube teams are going to take that content and get it to the internet. Scott, welcome to the show.
Thank you. It feels wrong to be sat on a video call with you after such a great weekend in person, doesn't it? So yeah, back to the digital hospitality.
This is how we met. We met digitally through a LinkedIn DM. Yeah. Give some context. Tell the story. This is a storytelling platform, and if you're waiting, we appreciate you. We're going to get the community up here. We're just going to set the tone for what the episode is about, and then we're going to ask you how you think about speed, how you think about post-production, how you capture content, and how you tell your business story. Go for it, Scott.
Yeah, I mean, I'd been posting on LinkedIn only for probably about 18 months, and I was starting to get bored with my content, and I was sure that if I was getting bored with my content, then the audience would be getting bored with my content too. Never wanted to be on video, feared the life out of me to be on video, so I spoke to the guy who is constantly on video as a way to help me understand some ways that I could break down the barriers of getting onto video and comfortable and starting the journey of being able to show people visually everything that we were doing on text only on LinkedIn. So we talked through it, and I posted on LinkedIn the other day. The thing that struck out to me through that whole thing was at the end of it, I remember asking you what I could do for you because you just given me 30 minutes of complete knowledge bombs, and you asked me to listen to restaurant influencers and leave a review. And what struck me was it wasn't leave a review, it was actually listen to the content and leave a review. And it just struck with me that it was, even in the thing of me asking you what I could do for you, there was a go listen to it. It wasn't just go on there and give me a review. And since then, we've obviously been on digital. Came out to San Diego. We built up an amazing friendship, and I think it was a great full circle to get all the families together, and kids are still talking about your kids, and my wife's still talking about Rosita and what have you. So it was just an amazing holiday. I can't wait to show more people about some of the stuff we got up to.
So let's let the community know, and those that are watching, that are listening, we appreciate you no matter what platform you're watching on. We want you to be a part of this conversation. We'll set the tone for Scott. What was the plan for us creating content together on this family trip, and walk us through how it came out, and then we'll get some of the producers to share an assembly cut so you guys can see what it's like, and then we can hold ourselves. That'll be our homework, is to actually follow up with the speed. So go ahead, Scott.
Speed. Yeah, I mean, the speed thing's funny because we've been driving my team crazy ever since I got back on speed after we talked about that one video. So we've now got a hashtag Be Faster, and I've already been insane with it because we already did quite a decent speed anyway. So it's been funny. But what we wanted to do was we wanted to go to the Bulgarian Black Sea, and we wanted to plan our holiday through ChatGPT to see how advanced ChatGPT was, where the great bits of ChatGPT were, the bits where maybe it needed a bit of help or where there was some other elements. And I'm excited to talk about some of those bits about how that almost complemented ChatGPT as well as we go through the show, and find some real gems in Sunny Beach where we could go and experience. And we shot all of that. We showed, I screen recorded all the stuff last night for Cam of our chats on ChatGPT just to show everyone how easy it was and how simple it was to do it. And I think it did a pretty good job all in all. I think it was all right. It had one little mess up first, but apart from that, it was pretty solid, wasn't it?
It was. So yeah, today's topic is going to be about speed. I think, for Cali Barbecue Media, we built a media company on top of our restaurant. We've been doing these Rising Tides calls ever since we started on Clubhouse. Everything that we learn as a media company, we want to share with our community. We believe every business is a media company. And I think one of the takeaways that I had from that trip, not only from Cody Sanchez, the video that I shared with you, Scott, and I'll share in all of the group chats that we have about speed, was as we get bigger and as we have more clients and as we have more shows, it becomes much harder to practice speed. I mean, we still today, we actually yesterday, we published the video of Greg Majewski and John Taffer from the National Restaurant Show on restaurant influencers. We've been putting out content every single week on Restaurant Influencers, which is our main show on Entrepreneur. But just this week, we're publishing something that happened, I don't know, it was a couple months ago. May was when we recorded in Chicago. So it's a challenge to us. It's a challenge to myself. It's a challenge to everyone on the team of how do we keep capturing content and then prioritize. Once we prioritize, then how quickly can we get it onto the internet? I don't know, Mike, if you're able to put the assembly cut or Stover, there you go.
Hi.
Stover, can you share the assembly cut?
Where's Cam? I thought our producer.
I know Cam. I told Cam to come and join the party, but
I want to give credit to Cam because we talked yesterday in our weekly team meeting about doing speed.
We did.
We want to really up our speed. We have the tools to do so, and it's all about creating the systems to make it not any more work, to go faster. That's what we're trying to do. Cam, in the name of speed, this morning, very early.
Cam can't get in, is what he says.
Even better.
There's too many people in the green room.
Yeah, we'll let him in. But thank you, Cam. But anyway, Cam amazingly was able to put together a rough assembly cut of one of these videos to help us all get moving with the project. So I'll play it for you here.
ChatGPT to plan your family vacation?
This is 4 months in the making, families from San Diego and London, and we're really excited to show you what ChatGPT tells us to do in Sunny Beach, Bulgaria.
Sunny Beach, Bulgaria, they recommended that we stay at the Hotel Dune. So this is the only hotel that's on this side of the boardwalk. We're gonna show you all about the hotel and everything that we do in Sunny Beach, thanks to ChatGPT. Come on inside.
Wow. Good job, Cam. Shout out to Cam for getting that done. Brilliant. Well, yeah, so part of the thing we also wanted to touch on is we filmed everything on an iPhone. We used Rode mics. Scott brought the Rode mics. You also had what's the stick? Your cam stick?
I mean, it's a gimbal. God, what make it is, but it's a gimbal. But anyway, it definitely helped on some of the bits that people will see on like the boats. I guess some of the walking stuff that kept it a bit stable, stuff like that. So yeah, it was pretty handy.
Yeah, so we got that, and then everything got uploaded to a Google Drive, shared drive between Scott's team, our team, and then we created a ZenZap, which is a communications app, and we are now communicating over ZenZap, and we are cross-collaborating who's going to be making which videos and how quickly we can get them onto the internet. But let's bring up the community. Let's talk about speed. We appreciate you guys for being here. If you're waiting in the green room, if you can't get in, we'll try to get as many people into this conversation as possible. It's always better when we have more voices, more experiences, more stories up here on stage. Go ahead. Let's get this party started. If my producers can get the party started.
Come on, guys, speed.
Where's the speed? You guys, we broke Riverside the last platform we were. So we went from Clubhouse changed. So we went to LinkedIn Audio got rid of itself. So we went over to Riverside, and we were too many people on Riverside, and now we're on StreamYard. So I don't know if Stover's there or Mike, but go ahead and bring the community up if you can. If not, Scott, go ahead and share a little bit more about the.
Yeah, I think an interesting one for me here on speed, and we had this conversation, didn't we? Was about that whole bit about being fast. So really prioritizing how you can understand a client or your end user and what they want out of, and looking at how you can deliver that as quickly as possible. We all know that clients come and they want everything today or tomorrow. Setting deadlines. building those deadlines where you can over deliver, so we get it back to the client quicker. And I think you came up with a brilliant phrase, which was, we understand the value of getting this to you as quickly as possible. So we know we should have delivered it next week, but we wanted to get it as quickly as possible. I think there's real value in terms of that under promising, over delivering, where speed can really come in and add value to clients and projects and over delivery. So I think that was another takeaway from the speed thing that I took away from the weekend. The other one, I guess, on ChatGPT, is a number of times where we were walking around and we were in a position where the quickest thing to do wasn't to go on Google and start searching and flicking through pages and choosing through Wonderlist restaurants and things like that. It was to get on ChatGPT and ask it a question. I think there was the one, wasn't there, where we took a picture of the cathedral and we took a picture and said, what is this, standing in front of us? We got the full history, the full thing. We were able to get on camera and talk about it literally in the space of about 1 minute. You'll see it on the video. It was super quick. If we'd have had to do that on Google and try and decipher what was there and why, it would have been so much longer. So I think that's one of the things for me that stuck out on ChatGPT, is that in the moment element where you use it to really speed up what you do.
Yeah, for sure. I think, the way that we experience travel and historical sites and museums is going to change forever. I mean, just when I went to Istanbul and used ChatGPT to take photos and explain to me what was going on, I didn't need to pay for a tour guide. So you have tour guides that you can pay for as an add-on to the museum charge, or you can just literally go through. And now with technology, if you have your own earbuds, you can just scan a QR code and it will tell you verbally actually what's happening at this place and whatever the thing is that you're seeing. So it's really exciting stuff. I appreciate it. Let's get to the community. Jason Berkowitz, 60 seconds. Who are you? What are you building? And share a story about speed, post-production speed.
Post-production speed. Jason Berkowitz, longtime restaurant operator, partner, founder of Arrow Up Training. We help restaurants satisfy their compliance while leveling up their teams and developing their supervisors into leaders. We're going back to being the king of compliance training. And, what's interesting is we always balance when we capture recordings, interviews, things like that, sort of the rabbit and the turtle and the hare in that sense, because we produce the majority of our content that we pump out are courses. And so in that point, we're always trying to shave it down as much as possible to have what we call the minimum viable dose or the minimum effective dose. And so what is the smallest way that we can communicate the most impactful message possible? And coming from that, I'm really coming from a world of like, this big lift at the end, it's to make it feel very lighter for the end experience, because it's not rinse and repeat onto the next one. It's something that gets carried and scaled over and over again. We're crossed over 50,000 students, I think now. It's amazing. And so it really needs to really focus on that.
You said 50,000 students, what?
I think we've trained now over 50,000 students have taken, let's say, restaurant. Let me do a little bit more research, but I looked at
you need to lead with a statistic, even if it's 45,000.
One platform, my own personal platform crossed 20,000.
It's amazing.
My own personal platform crossed 20,000, let alone, we're dealing with places that have 4,000 locations. Take 30 people per location. Son of a bitch. There's another one for another story as we talk through, but I'm gathering those stats to be able to more quickly discuss them. But here's what I want to talk about. Coming from a legacy world of courses where we have to focus on it, we know, and I know that I've been working on trying to get quick content out there faster. And so right now, what's taken much longer, over 3 weeks, is building out a new backdrop for our content studio in our new place. Last year, I told you we're going to find a new home. One of the reasons is to have a content studio. One of the reasons is to be able to interview and have fun and then put it out quickly. So watch the arc over the next 3 to 6 months as I try to let the courses be the courses, which I don't want to stop refining and tweaking and tooling. It's what works, that minimum effective dose versus, okay, you recorded something, you got an interview on table, you did something fun, get it out there, go. And I was recording ads recently for our new marketing campaign for compliance courses. And it was great. On the fifth one, Josh Copel was guiding me on this. We were together on a gig. On the fifth one, he was like, "You're just humming. You just got out of your way. You're just going and hitting it." And so I think this is exciting. A tool, because we always talk about tools, is there's a teleprompter. So I wrote something. He put it up on a teleprompter to hold it via his iPad, and I was reading through it. And
which app was it?
I should find out. So is there one that you recommend? Because I'm going to ask him what it was. It really helped.
We've been looking for one.
All right. So we're going to find out. And it's that balance between reading it. So what are the tools that we have? And I'd love to know if other people have them. You know, this is where we learned about CapCut. Charlie and Heather were great at CapCut and speed to market. So I think as I move from courses to light interviews, I'd love to know other tools that people have to quickly deliver.
Amazing. Thank you, Jason Berkowitz.
Hey, Jason.
Hi, Troy.
It's going to blow your mind, but the tool is called Teleprompter app. There's an app called Teleprompter. It's great. Works just fine.
There it is.
There it is. Troy Hooper.
There it is, Shawn, too.
Shawn's team at Rising Tide uses a different one, I think, but they can tell you what that is. Hey, Shawn, not to be the squeaky only child, but I got to go next, or I got to go.
Okay. You can be the squeaky. Are you an only child?
Yes, I am.
Start there.
Yes, I am. We haven't figured that out yet.
It's all starting to make sense, Troy.
I am about to board this flight right here, Tampa.
Beautiful.
So I'm only here because my flight is delayed, but we are about to board.
Okay, you go. You tell us speed.
Speed. I'm really good at it in some respects, and I'm terrible at it in others. I'm good at it in operations, in decision making, in considering the collective voice of a team. I'm very quick to sort of evaluate, analyze, and go. I'm terrible at it when it comes to publishing, as Shawn is well aware and always yelling at me about. But sometimes I'm fast when it's gamified. When it's gamified, I'm fast.
When it's gamified, you can put some shots on goal.
Yeah, for sure. But it has to be gamified, or I just lumber in the wind, and I need somebody to come along and smack me in the back of the head or kick me in the ass. But I think speed is everything. Forget trend chasing, forget being relevant to a particular moment. But speed is the current thought. It's the current mindset. It's the thing that you are producing or thinking about or putting out because something in this moment made it relevant to you, and therefore it is relevant to other people. That doesn't mean it's not evergreen. Doesn't mean it can't live on and do well long term as content or as a concept. But you thought of it, or it's relevant to something active in your business or your life today. So it probably is so for many more people. So I think speed matters in the connectivity point that it can create with your audience or cohort or whoever it is.
For sure. Well, how are you guys managing speed as you start to produce more content?
Multiple people have permission to distribute, right? Kind of like what you've done, Shawn. Right? We don't wait on. Honestly, we had a bottleneck. We had a serious bottleneck in that everything had to push through one person. We've now diversified that. Multiple people are sort of taking responsibility for different pieces of our content tree. And by diversifying that, I've got people posting relative to the podcast and to things in that world. I have somebody posting relative to B2B for Pepper Lunch. I have somebody posting B2C for Pepper Lunch, and then Paul, kind of everybody has a little bit of permission to reutilize, right? We're doing a lot of reuse. Now we have access to all of our franchisees' content, and 2 of our stores right now are killing it with EGC, employee generated content. They're getting out there and dancing and doing all the fun stuff and creating skits and promoting specific things. They're not getting any direction from the brand on that. They've just kind of been given the idea of what it is we are and we want to be, and they're taking and making it their own, and they're publishing, and then we're republishing that. So we're really fast, I would say, now on the awareness of what is going on in the world and down to the store level, and then repurposing that really quick. If anything, I'm going to be proud of around speed, it's that, because I have nothing to do with that. I just wake up, scroll through my Instagram, and start seeing our page, the corporate page, posting what I know was made at the store level and released in the last 24, 48 hours. So I'm really excited about that evolution of diversifying sort of the permission base. Get out of your own way. You don't have to be the single source of truth, the single approver of all things. Give people the guardrails, give people the guidelines, give people the rule book, give them tools and resources to make their jobs better, faster, more efficient, more creative, and then get out of the way and worry about managing it after the fact.
Did anyone listen to Troy casually drop EGC into the conversation?
I loved it, and listen, I want to give props to Troy.
That's like a true keynote speaker. Like, oh by the way,
EGC.
Right?
The world needs more acronyms. But Troy, to give you props in the sense of when we were talking about social media 2 years ago on this, was trying to convince brands to put their employees into their images and photos to show the happiness, to not only attract customers, but attract employees. I've been talking about working with speed to building a training program for companies. When I work with them, I'm like, get your employees to pull out the phone and record each other doing something. Like, that's it. They're there, get them to do it, get them to record each other, publish up. So creating that environment where employees feel the not only permission, but enthusiasm to post with their own selves, EGC, TGC, Troy, it's team member generated content.
I don't make up the acronyms. I just listen to Gary Vee and repeat them. But look, I think I think everything we're saying is it has to come with the word empowerment. Like, you have to educate, resource, and empower whoever it is to be creative and bring their voice and expand the personality of your business, your brand, whatever that is. There's a lot of tools. To your point, Jason, one thing I demoed this morning with a group we're talking about partnering with on an employee intranet, so to speak, right? A social media, company specific social media channel or feed where all forms of media and communication can be created, uploaded, and distributed up, down, left, and sideways, right? Where it's permission based, role based, all that, but that you basically, imagine a Slack channel, but everybody's on it and has sort of a varied permission and access and availability. And there's a lot of these tools out there, but I looked at one that was pretty slick, really affordable, modular to a bigger platform. And the point is more and more brands, more and more businesses are realizing that there's a lot of gold, there's a lot of insight, there's a lot of brand intelligence, there's a lot of innovation to be found by sourcing and empowering the voice of everybody in the organization that has a stake in the success of the business. And you're right. You and I have been saying this our entire careers, Jason, quite frankly.
Well, Troy, thank you for joining us before you get on the plane. It is the birthday man himself, Richard Liverman. I have a question for you as the cultural attaché for this community. I need to know, what is it called in England when school is out for the summer? What do you do when school is out for the summer? What's it called?
Fucking brilliant. School holidays.
What do you do?
What do you do, Richard, when you get, what do you do for summer when the school's out? What do you do for summer?
All I can think of is that T-Rex song, "School's Out for Summer." Now,
come on, Scott, help him out.
I'm going to have to help him out, and there's a few that we covered over that we need to ask you. It's probably its own live stream. We break up. School breaks up, doesn't it?
Yeah, we break up. Yeah, break up.
You break up.
Yeah.
You break up for summer.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not something we do. We don't break up with school. It's a weird terminology to break up with school for the summer.
But what do you do?
You get back together with school? Are my kids going to get back together when they go back to school?
Yeah, but we don't have recess. We have break.
You don't have recess.
It's Alice Cooper. I just needed to jump in. It wasn't T-Rex. T-Rex is a fantastic band.
I realize I've insulted Jason with that as well.
I'm sorry.
Sorry, Jason.
Richard, happy birthday.
And happy birthday.
Thanks, guys.
You're up.
Richard, one thing I haven't told you is I spent the weekend explaining the British class system by which supermarket you go to Shawn. So before you start saying about speed, can you just let us know which supermarket you shop in, just so that Shawn knows where you sit in the class system?
Yeah, please.
Well, I my local supermarket is Fortnum and Mason.
Give over.
You're very posh.
No,
Very
it's
posh.
funny because I used to work for Sainsbury's, so I'm always very loyal to them. But I actually shop in Tesco. But I will occasionally pop into Asda to pick up Spotted Dick to send to you.
There you go. It's on the verge
Fantastic.
between working class and middle class there, right?
I think that there's I think we could also direct that question to Cam very shortly, although I know he's now in a different country.
Cam, do you break up with school? Is that a thing?
Yeah, but you guys have spring break. That's not. Isn't that particularly the same thing you guys say? Because you have spring break.
Spring
You say
break,
that as
yeah.
well. Yeah.
Breaking up with school. I don't know what's happening.
What's
We don't
happening
have
is
time
Stover's
now.
running the controls right now. Mike's gone. Stover's running. I can tell you based on
What's
full of
happening?
music.
Hey, we're gonna get done for copyright. Calm down.
Yeah, calm down. Cam is producing this episode. Richard, it's your birthday. Tell us about speed.
I think what's really interesting with this whole topic is I think as an entrepreneur, there's this little bit where you kind of get in your own head where you think you have to do everything. You have to do marketing. You have to do all of these different things. And I was getting quite frustrated with putting my content out there because I'm not as skilled a person, say somebody like Cameron, who's got fantastic skills. I find that bit of it a lot harder. I'm much happier just shooting on camera. I've got better camera, by the way. I've got so much better in front of camera with practice. But there's that little bit where I'm quite happy to make stuff. And what I do now is I send it to somebody who I work with who really, really helps me with the technical side of it. And I think there's that little bit where you don't have to do everything. And I think there's that bit where as entrepreneurs or people, you're almost told that, oh, you need to be great at everything. And I've kind of very much to the point now where what can I outsource? What are the difficult bits for me? And what are the bits that I enjoy? And what are the bits where I can naturally use my strengths? And it's a conversation Scott and I were having last week, which is, what are the bits that you can outsource? What are the bits that, you can get somebody who's very skilled to do it really, really quickly? And I think there's that little bit where you don't have to do everything. And I remember when I set my business up, I was almost in the mindset, well, I need to do everything. You just end up burning out. And I think there is that little bit where almost like when you run a restaurant, you need to know all the different elements. It doesn't mean that you have to do them all. And that's sort of my conclusion with this whole production speed thing, that, I can do production, but it's going to take me ages to learn the software and ages to have the skill to do it really, really well. And my 10,000 hours, I'm going to put in different location. And I think there is that little bit where are you going to spend your 10,000 hours getting really, really good at something? Mine's not going to be production. And I think there's that little bit of that realization that, it's actually good to outsource. So yeah, that was my thinking.
I love it. What are you doing for your birthday besides joining us, spending time with us?
Yeah, I've had a friend up and we went out this morning, took the dog out, which is fantastic. And then I was given a birthday present. I've been given this retro game, which I've been playing all for the last 24 hours because I got it early, called Championship Manager. So I'm going to geek out on that tonight. My son and I are watching a film together. I'm going to do a bit of cooking together. So I've been barbecuing all week. And I'm just going to have just nice time with my family. And then my wife's been away and she gets back tomorrow. So I think we'll go out for a nice meal. So it's not a totally crazy one, but it's lots and lots of little nice things. And I was reading somewhere, there's a great story about the British Olympic cycling team, because we used to be rubbish at cycling. Now we're the best country in the world at cycling. We win the most medals. And what they talked about was, what are the 100 things that you can do 1% better? And all of a sudden it helps you sort of get to that stage. And for my birthday, I've almost taken the same approach. Are there 100 things I could do like a little bit better and have a nice time? So a nice bottle of champagne, tick. Time with family, tick. Time with friend, tick. And all of those little things, I'm actually having a really good day. And that's one of the reasons I wanted to come out and hang out with you guys, because we spend a lot of time together and it's nice to be in this environment. And then it's an added bonus to see Cousin Cam.
Well, Cousin Cam, you've got the rock. You're up. Thank you, Richard. Happy birthday. We're honored that you spent time with us.
Happy birthday, cuz. I've already sent him a message. This is not the first time I've said hello to him today. Are we talking about speed? Actually,
We're talking
first, I
about
want to ask
speed.
Scott. I want to ask Scott where he shops. I didn't hear Scott's answer to his.
He's got to be Morrison's with that Yorkshire accent.
No, not Morrison's. Well, put it this way: when we were looking at what we could take to Bulgaria for Shawn and his family, there was only one place we could go, which originated in the best city in the country, which is Marks and Spencer's. So I always shop at M&S. That's my bag.
Those are a huge hit. Those biscuits were a huge hit with the entire family, not just the kids, but the grandparents they're fighting over them. So well played.
There you go. M&S fails, right?
We're talking like upper middle class M&S. That's what we're talking about. I feel like it runs up some. It's Iceland at the bottom and Waitrose at the top. That's the way I look at it, and then everything else in between.
You've missed Aldi and Lidl, and what I want to know.
No, Iceland is definitely the bottom, Rich. Iceland is definitely the bottom. I think Lidl is
that
like
supermarket, not the country. Just for if people are listening and worried that we're going to war.
That is good context.
There's a great story about M&S. I don't know if Scott told you. They do sandwiches for lunch, and they do a meal deal. And they've done their first ever sweet sandwich. So it's 2 slices of cake with cream and strawberries. And it's about £4 or £5. So what's that? $6, $7 for it. And they're selling out everywhere. And I managed to get my hands on one last week. It was really boring. I was dead disappointed.
Really? Wow, that's a harsh review from Richard. I like it. 1 star from Richard. On the sweet sandwich. Cam, let's talk about post-production speed.
Yeah,
since you've been working on the team, what we've accomplished and what can we do better?
My view on post-production speed is it starts with pre-production. So I don't think you gain the speed earlier on. So like I would always like it's getting better with us as well, because I feel like there is a lot more discussion about where we're going with things. But then there's something that I always take from previous projects is that eventually you realize the best way is to align everything before the video gets shot, so that everyone who's involved at the back end knows what's happening before it gets shot. And then you have everything like greased, basically. You want grease at every stage. So it's quite cool to like sort of like right now you and I are still recording stuff for the videos we're doing. So it's good. It's good to get some like to go back and forth and get a little bit of like, get a little bit of ahead of time in some of the plans.
Yeah,
so,
share with the community what you're making me do, just so everyone.
I gotta make you do audio takes. I gotta make you do another video, but we're gonna do a bit of Hollywood magic and go back in time and film something that should have been filmed. That would have been filmed like a week ago. That's actually being filmed now, but we won't tell everyone. It's all good. And then we're gonna do some AI voice creation potentially, because ChatGPT just doing like text on the screen is boring. So hopefully we get like AI voice to come out. Maybe even just use ChatGPT's voice. But people have sent me some AI voice generators. So there's lots of stuff you can do now, which is fun. That doesn't take very long, because the thing about generative AI is it's so fast now that like it just doesn't take that much time to like add these like little extra bits into the videos. So it's really improved. It's really increased, because I started creating videos before, and so did everyone involved, I guess, with Callie, like editing and producing videos before AI. And now after AI, there's just these areas that were time consuming and like you procrastinated because they were just annoying. But now it's like you don't have to worry about it. Like a good example is like subtitling. It's like so fast now. There are still mistakes and everything, but it's like so much faster than it was like 10 years ago. And people aren't manually going there's no one at Netflix going in and manually doing the subtitles, put it that way. It's all done on transcript, and then the AI knows what people have said, and then it works really fast. But like at some point in time, someone had to manually do subtitling. And could you even imagine like what that would be like?
Rosie makes fun of the subtitles in Bulgaria that are English shows, old English shows, American shows that are translated with Bulgarian subtitles. And she's like, that's not what they say at all. Those are terrible. And like they're obviously not using software, because the software is bad. I mean, it's not perfect, but it's definitely better than a human going in and doing it.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
Brilliant. Anything else you want to share post-production speed, Cam, before we turn it over to next up on deck?
No, I like what Troy said about like just looking at the bottlenecks and doing whatever you can to like get past them, because there's usually just 1 or 2 big bottlenecks in production that you kind of just, I think accepting them for too long is like a problem. Like, especially we have it with some clients, it's about coaching, because like it's a problem. It's not just, oh, this client is just like that, we just have to accept it. There is, you know, it's a conversation, it's an ongoing relationship. So and so we offer coaching for like social, we're coaching people in content creation. So you want to talk to them and be like, hey, this is a bottleneck for production. It's also an area where we can coach and like, you know, improve the speed on your end. So like look at it, I think looking at that in that way, like everything can be improved. You can learn more things to remove these bottlenecks. It's not just going to be like that forever.
100%. And if I think of just like our shows of like when we first started doing the podcast, I wanted to help with the titles of the episodes. I wanted to help with the takeaways of the like I wasn't micromanaging, but I was involved in every step of the process. And the further that I've gotten away from that, the more shows that we're doing, the more work that we're doing, the more impact that we're having. So, you know, as great as I think that I am, me getting out of my own way and letting my team and trusting my team and guiding them along the way and saying what I like, what I don't like, it's definitely been helpful. And that goes for anybody that's producing a show, producing a content. Have some trust in your team. And don't be afraid to let them hit publish, and you can always improve it. You're not gonna hit publish one. It's not the end all be all once you hit publish on that show. There will be another episode. There will be another show. Bruce Nelson, you're up.
Shawn, can I just ask one question? One of the conversations that me and Shawn had when we were in Bulgaria, we were talking about speed over quality, and is it best to be the best, or is it best to be the quickest, or is it somewhere in between? What would your opinion be on this in terms of like perfectionism, details that maybe someone who's watching might not necessarily hold as the biggest value? So what would you say is most important? And don't go on the fence on this one. Is it speed or is it quality?
I agree with quite a lot with Shawn. It's speed first, because you learn a lot more. Like chasing speed and getting a lot of stuff out there, you learn way more. I just think from like improvements perspectives, someone who's got 1,000 videos on YouTube is significantly further along than someone who's like curated like 8. Do you know what I mean? It's just like, the way it is. You get way more data. Like these studio machines are just now a data depository for like all of how well your videos do and everything as well. So like you get like a lot more feedback. You don't get audience. If you spend ages to get video out, you don't get audience feedback either. So it's not just like, what is the machine telling you? It's like, what are the audience telling you?
Yeah.
So for example, on the gardening project, we put out 2 videos a week for like 5 years now. And like, yeah, the content's massively improved, but we weren't worrying about how good it was super in the beginning. We were just worrying about like getting like the useful information that we had into a video and out onto the thing. And like, if we'd stuck around worrying about our videography, for example, like, is that plant looking perfect? Then we wouldn't have actually got the information out there. And it turned out people cared way more about the information than how well the videos were. So it was like one of those areas where I learned what people wanted by posting. You know what I mean? You just don't learn that by the feedback is more valuable than your opinion. Is that a good way of saying it?
Yeah.
Like, that's the way I would describe it.
Is, and I think back to what Shawn was saying earlier about us doing everything on 2 Rode mics and an iPhone. You'll see when you see the video. Like I watched the footage last night. Like you'll see, it just goes to show how easy it can be to produce long form video on your phone. You don't need the fancy equipment. You don't need the videographers to get going or to produce something in the moment. You can kind of.
How much did the guy want to charge us, Scott?
He tried to charge us $1,800.
$1,800 for a 4-hour, 1 camera, no post production in Bulgaria, where you already was located.
Yeah, and we got far more consistent. Probably like being on an iPhone all the way through the holiday is much more consistent to the watcher as well. So I think, it just goes to show. I guess my thing out of that just goes to show you don't need to have all the fancy stuff to get online and do stuff, does it? So
I think long form, for some reason, people are like a little bit more I don't know what it is, but there's less. Long form seems to scare people in a way that short form doesn't at the moment. Like people are much more interested in like jumping into doing like short clips, but like the idea of like a long form video creates some sort of like mental barrier for some people, where they're like, this has to be a lot more produced, this has to be whatever. And
I think
like, I know
that's a great point, and that's why there's so much opportunity. To be honest with you, you're 100% right on that long form, and they don't see the quick hits where short form video you can see hundreds of views, thousands of views, tens of thousands, but like long form, it just takes time, and people don't want to put up videos that only have 70 views or 150 views. Like they're worried that people are going to judge them, but honestly, no one cares. Like literally nobody cares. If it's a good video and it's answering the question and you're showing
there's a great quote that nobody's thinking about you the way that you're thinking about you.
Yes.
And that's from Schitt's Creek.
Jason's laughing. Yes, 100%. Bruce, post-production speed.
Hi, good afternoon, everybody. I'm calling in from northern Minnesota. It's not quite
Thank
Canada, but I can see it from here. And when it comes to speed, obviously, I'm in the financial world, and we're talking about in my world is how fast we can get information out there. My record for closing a fiscal period is 8 hours. I had a restaurant that once needed to have some very serious analytics done on it. It was not doing well, and we had to get some accurate information. Using Restaurant 365, I actually closed a period in a quarter in 8 hours. But now, as we look at AI, I mean, we think we can get that speed faster. When it comes to post-production, I guess, it's not really in my wheelhouse, but the one thing that I think about is at what point do you look at perfection versus quantity on this? Because when these videos go out, they go out into the ether, and they exist forever, but yet there's always going to be another episode following it. So there must be some kind of calculation you make saying, okay, to get out to make the speed that we want, we have to be willing to sacrifice a little bit on the quality side.
Yep. Yeah, and I think that goes back to what Cam was talking about, and just one of
Exactly.
our overall philosophies is that we're not painting the masterpiece, we're continuously painting. Like we're just going to paint so many paintings that eventually we're going to learn how to make a better masterpiece along the way, and it's an entire body of work versus one piece of work. The answer is quantity, speed, and consistency, and eventually your quality will go up.
Well,
and if it's not going up, then you have a serious problem.
You haven't said
I think that's the amazing thing about this and how social media is playing is exactly what you said, Shawn.
Quantity, speed, plus consistency eventually will equal quality.
Exactly.
Let's go ahead, Bruce. Sorry, didn't mean to cut you off.
I said just it's a cumulative game.
Yeah, for sure. Joe,
right.
You're up. Post-production. Thank you, Bruce. Appreciate you being here, joining from northern Minnesota.
Joe, in the conversational AI space, and when it comes to what I'm doing, I'm of course in more of a business development focus and relationship building efforts, and so I always take that old school saying of like speed to lead, right? And I think that correlates into multiple different businesses, and how can you be responsive, be persistent with someone in a very natural way, right? And post conversation, before conversation, whatever it may be, I think having that information present and current is really important. Something that we all have taken advantage of is note taking, right? In conversations and meetings and whatnot, which allows us to be more present in the conversations. And I think something that's really unique is taking those transcripts and taking those summaries and, in a sense, inputting them into ChatGPT and allowing ChatGPT to kind of structure them and summarize them and sharing that with your respective, person that you're interacting with. So, and more importantly, I think, service, and I think that, representation of yourself is follow through, and so if you're quick to doing something like that and you're quick to producing that and to providing that, I think you're going to have great feedback in your image and your representation in the marketplace, in the business, in the verticals you're in is going to be it, And I think of the where AI is going is, of course, I'm heavily involved in the AI spaces. I've been in the software space, in the early stage hospitality software space, the SaaS, marketing, ad tech. And, I would hear months upon months and weeks upon weeks of fulfilling and rolling out products. And I've even seen years sometimes come into product rollouts. And something I think that we did really well here, and we do really well here, is provide a product in a very quick turnaround time. I've actually worked with Bruce recently on some conversations, and I was able to turn a product to him in less than 2 hours. And he was able to go take that in and provide that to his his clients and whatnot. And it's just really unique, and shows that what you're saying to people is what you're actually able to doing, comes together really well and provides a lot of value to who you are.
I hope you guys listen to what Joe said. It's something that we use Fathom to take as an AI note taker. We started with Fireflies, tested Fathom. Doesn't matter what note taker you're using, but if you take the transcript, even from Fathom, I love the summaries from Fathom, but if you take the transcript from Fathom and then you put it into ChatGPT, where ChatGPT is learning what you're doing, it's unbelievable the speed at which you can get something communicated to your team or back to a client. And the video that I was talking to, the Cody Sanchez video that I'll share, we have a Slack channel, we have a LinkedIn communication, we have an Instagram group chat. If any of you guys want to join that, send a message to podcast@calibbq.media. We'll add you to those group chats, but I'll share the video that I shared with Scott. Scott shared it with his team. I shared it with my team yesterday. Speed. Imagine what kind of differentiator you can make in the marketplace if every other competitor says, I'll get you a proposal next week, and you say, I'll get you a proposal tomorrow. Yeah. Instead of next week, what if it was 24 hours?
Yeah.
And that goes back to what Troy was talking about, what Richard touched upon, what Scott talked about, which is in the attention economy, speed. How much more attention can you give somebody, and prioritization, when you show up in their inbox and you just had met with them? Literally, you just met with them, but then you give them the right context. It's a true differentiator. So awesome stuff, Joe.
Yeah, I love it. Thanks, guys.
Dean LeBay, post-production speed. There we go. Oh, you had it. There you go.
Okay. Can you hear me now? Okay.
We can.
All right. Well, I'm still trying to figure out how to get this in and not be on an iPhone, so I'm not sure about post-production. You can hear me, right?
We can hear you, Dean. You did great.
Shawn, can you hear me? Okay. Hey, I'm trying to get there. I'm not sure. I post-production. Listen, I'm still early in the stage. If I record it, I do it one time and I put it out there on Instagram, and that's it. I don't have a whole lot of production content in it, but it is the speed of it. You're right, Shawn. It's just like on LinkedIn. Make a post, your name will come up more if you're trying to build out that type of relationship. I did want to say something about Jason. Y'all were talking about school being out, spring break, whatever. I don't know if y'all know this, but Jason was kicked out of high school because of recess, because Jason don't play. And anyway, thought I'd throw that in there for you, Jason. Y'all were talking about
He's throwing shade.
Y'all were talking about employee-generated content. Something I've been thinking about since I first got on Clubhouse back in the old days. I believe there's a room for what I would call brand-generated content. What I mean by that is everybody that's in the restaurant business in this particular room, Maddie, you, everybody, there's certain pieces of equipment that is made, and by pointing that equipment out in some of your videos, if you can, I think you can. Everybody wants to have a sponsor. Everybody wants the big name, but it's kind of like what you did with the toast unboxing. You draw light to that particular thing, and you picked up a pretty good endorsement. And I think everybody out there should be a media company, and you can show light on certain equipment, say like Middleby, Well-Built, Garland, whoever it may be. And it may take you a while to get there, but the bottom line is, I promise, Maddie and you, Shawn, are both in the barbecue business, and I promise you, there's probably 10 items that y'all both use all the time, every day. Hoshisaki, best ice machine made that's in the market. As far as reliability, it's never going to break. It just don't break. That's what they make. So anyway, it's been a good conversation. I don't have a whole lot on the post stuff. I'm still trying to learn how to do Zoom. I mean, I think this might be maybe the second time I've been on my computer to do it, and I'm usually on my phone. But hey, I'm a lot further than I was when I first got on Clubhouse. So I'm grateful. Thanks, guys.
We're proud of you, Dean. You're a rock star. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for everything that you do to support everybody, no matter what they're building in this community. Matty Smokes, you're up. Post-production speed.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Matty Smokes, pitmaster, owner, operator. Matty Smokes Barbecue and catering all across Long Island in the 5 boroughs, and JJ Cooper's Long Beach, New York. For me, I mean, listen, production has been kind of recent to me in the last like 6 months or so since I met all of you. And but the biggest thing I've been learning is equipment, quality of equipment. I mean, I initially started kind of on my phone, and going from the phone to CapCut to production to get it in to whatever you're posting, it was taking a long time. So I just got myself a new computer. I just got a DJI Osmo gimbal that now I can go right from that to the SD card to the computer. And so it's, for me, it's shooting and then getting it out there. It's a process, and the more you do it, I used to worry about perfection, and I've learned perfection doesn't even get me views. I'll spend 6 hours on a video, and I'm lucky to get 200 people. I shoot a live shot on a barbecue site, and I get 5,000 views. And so definitely learning as I'm going, and trying to make it quicker and easier to keep making more content. And you guys have helped show me that, so I appreciate that.
That's awesome, man. That's fire. That's exactly why we do these calls. We're all learning in public, building in public, and anything that we can do to support each other and share all the times that we fall down. But yeah, I mean, that's exactly it. It's like and the bigger companies, like the way that we stand out in a crowded marketplace is our ability to look stupid and sound stupid, and then fix it, update it, fix it, fall on our face, get back up, publish again. And that consistent, as much as we talk about speed on this conversation, like there's a reason why we have quantity, speed, and consistency.
Well, and genuineness.
Correct. Authentic.
Yeah. People, as much as I don't think somebody wants to see me cut 150 pounds of chicken quarters, but the regular chef at home that's cooking on their Weber smoker, they actually love hearing how I do that and get it done. Correct. So, without a doubt, that authenticity goes a long way.
For sure. Elizabeth Doss, post-production speed, you're up.
Okay, well, we're going to talk about speed, and I am going to talk very fast because I went off stage so that I could make room for other people, but I've been watching and I have responses to things. Jason went first, not first, you guys went first, but talking about teleprompter, I want to tell you, I do want to talk about CapCut. I know that in the States, CapCut may not be available at some point, so I would highly recommend you switch from that if you are, or start to look at other things. Instagram or Meta has a new video editing app called Edits. You can download it on your phone right now, and it has a teleprompter feature right within it, especially, and you can do voiceovers and add extra layers and do green screens and do all that stuff. So check out Instagram Edits. That was one thing I wanted to say. I also wanted to talk really quick because Cam was talking about some of the post-production stuff. And I just want to throw some numbers at you to make you all that are DIYing this feel good. Because I am a video editor. I'm a content creator, social media consultant, etc. But it takes, for a beginner, it takes 4 to 8 hours per finished minute of video. Okay.
Wow.
So if you're trying to DIY this, understand, and you're like, this is taking forever. Why is this so fidgety? All these things. It's 4 to 8 hours per finished minute. For someone who's doing this, who's got a little bit of skills, it's still an hour and a half to 3 hours per finished minute of video. So just cut yourself a break if you're trying to do this, okay? And that is why, you know, Shawn and Richard was talking about farming it out. That's one reason why, because you could get this time back in that. But I did want to let you know that a beginner who is doing this for you, like a 3-minute video on YouTube for a beginner to create, it's like $200 to $500. Intermediate, it's $500 to $2,000 for someone to create that 3-minute video for you. An expert can be anywhere from $2,000 to $10,000. So keep that in mind in saying, okay, I can't afford to pay someone else to do this. So you're going to pay either in money or in time. So I just need to let you know that on that side. Now for me, I'm doing a lot of heavy animations for my clients in their videos. So that even takes an extra part of time to have animations that are coming on, putting numbers up, graphics, that type of stuff. So cut yourself a break on all of that too. Okay. The other thing I wanted to say is I loved what Cam said about pre-production ideas or like making sure you're setting yourself up for success. I've created a new system that then you can create one just like this for free using Google Forms. So for my clients, I've created a Google form for them where they can just drop ideas into it that gets then it shoots to and syncs with a Google Sheet so that we don't lose track of the ideas, but we start to map out the pieces that we're missing. For instance, Cam was talking about how he is finding he needed Scott to screen record some. He needed Shawn to do this thing and that. And so it's a great way for you to keep track of your shot list of the things that you're still missing. Like I'll write to my client and be like, okay, I still need a voiceover that says this because we got this footage and it would be really great if we could add that into it. So kind of like communicating back and forth on that. My last thing is for the speed part for me, when I'm editing an interview video, I will get the transcript from that video. And there's several different ways that you can do that. I personally use Adobe products, and in Premiere, I grab the transcript from it. But I'll take that transcript and go over to ChatGPT and say, here's this interview. Do not change any of the words, but can you give me an edited down version of this? And what's great about Adobe Premiere, or even CapCut does this as well too, is they have transcript-based editing. So I can go back through the edited transcript that ChatGPT just gave me and highlight and delete portions of the other text-based transcript that will actually edit the video for me. So I don't have to sit there and watch through and listen through all of these things. I can edit it like I edit a Word document, and it will chop up that stuff for me. So it's a really great way to speed up that process. And but you need to make sure you tell ChatGPT that it's not allowed to change any of the words, because you can't change the video. Like, make that clear to it that you need it in that format. Anyway, those are just some of my thoughts, and I will hand it back to you, Shawn.
Incredibly, that's awesome stuff. Yes, the amount, just from an editing standpoint, when I think of like just our podcasts and how we could clean them up, before amount of time it would take a video editor to have to do that, but now to be able to use a transcript feature and then actually just cut out parts that drag. Because if we're honest about it, a 45-minute conversation, sometimes there's parts that drag. And if you can get rid of those parts, you to Jason's point, actually make it more impactful. And if it's more impactful, then you have the retention. If you have retention on YouTube, then you have more YouTube pushing it to more people that are exposed to it. So there's a lot of really valuable things when you look from a transcription standpoint. Scott, why don't you go ahead and start us off? Tip, takeaway, homework assignment.
I just think what I've done since I got back from Bulgaria is I've just looked at everything that we're doing and looked at how we make it faster, written it down, processes, what systems we're using, what other methods we're doing. We had a call to the going to be doing the content production to look at how we can speed up some of those processes. So I think it's that almost top to bottom review of every business to go faster, and looking at where you don't have to compromise on beliefs, values, etc. to do it. So that's we're still doing it. That's my kind of tip and homework.
Brilliant. Can't wait to see. When is your deadline for your editor? Ethan is his name?
Ethan, yeah. Well, I should have one by Friday and then next Wednesday for all of them to be.
So one for review or one published?
No, one over to all of us to make sure we're all happy, and then we'll publish it. We can have it published by the weekend, can't we, if he's got it by Friday?
Yes, brilliant.
Yeah.
Now we're talking. Friday. Love it.
Friday.
Jason Berkowitz, takeaway homework assignment.
Descript, I still like using it as a tool. Transcription editor, right? As Elizabeth was talking about, I think it's great. Another tool that I've been using in it recently is their version of Loom, basically, which is that you can record a screen, record what's going on, your little face is there and you're talking through it. As I'm bringing people on for different projects and whatnot, I'm really taking the time to record a Loom, show myself doing things so that I can release it to them, right? And so even Scott, as you're scaling up, taking sort of these principles of that we know from scaling in restaurant operations over to expanding content, is really taking that time and making sure that we're showing people our expectation. And if we take that extra time up front, it's going to really empower them to feel more confident to move on their own, which is absolutely what we want to work with, which is people that are feeling the confidence to sort of break through. And then secondly, save us on time recovering and sort of repairing things. And some things are just going to learn along the way, but I've been really focused on taking extra time in walking through, talking through everything. And then like almost the prompts, right? Taking extra time with the prompting and to share it with them is totally worth it.
Awesome. Dean LeBay.
Probably just give yourself a break. I mean, everybody's on a different part of their journey as we go through. You learn as you go and try to get better every day, a little bit better every day. And guys, this is the best community out there. You know, if you can, bring a friend next week. We get better as we're better together. And man, shout out to Maddie Smokes, man, been killing it on LinkedIn. Talk to you soon.
Thank you, Dean. Appreciate it. Joe, takeaway homework assignment.
Leverage the tools you have. I think is one of the, leverage the tools you use, leverage more tools to help streamline your processes, to help push out more information, more content, and to help that production process. Super helpful. This is a very helpful gathering today because something I'm heavily focused on getting into is the production side of things. So thank you guys.
Appreciate it.
You know, I'm going to say one more quick. I know we're running through, but I got taught something else. And Joe, you made me think about this, even though because we're all using ChatGPT to some degree. Josh Copel, again, to bring his name up, taught me where we were trying to work on something. He said, imagine you're somebody else watching this, reviewing this. And so you have the ability to put the robot to be Chris Voss, to be some of these people, to be whoever it is that are leaders. How would they respond to how we're communicating with them? That took so much time down for me trying to really think it through. I just put it into real back and forth. And so that inspired that, Joe. I wanted to kind of
love it.
The tools we use that I just got taught.
Yeah, I love it.
Let's go ahead. Elizabeth, takeaway homework assignment.
Yeah, sure. Okay, so Shawn always tells us to be the show, not the commercial. And when Maddie was talking about just going live, if you hate pre-production and you don't want to spend 4 to 8 hours per finished minute, then you need to start going live because that is the quickest, easiest lowest barrier of entry to creating content. And people are forgiving when it's live. When things clatter and drop and break and are a hot mess, they understand that this is happening in real time. So if you can't do the speed of post-production, then start going live. Back to you, Shawn.
Great tip. Yeah, going live is a quick way to hit the internet immediately. Maddie Smokes, takeaway homework assignment.
For me, the big takeaway is to just continue getting more content, using the tools I have, and really just making sure to get it out there. So, yeah, when I'm at these events, I got to go live more. I got to not worry about things being perfect. But again, figuring out how to take that content and maybe my live footage, I can still record and reutilize that for post-production and make it into another video a couple weeks later. So content, and getting it out there. So I'm working on it. We'll see. But thanks, guys.
Amazing. And thank you to everybody who's watching on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook. We appreciate you. Please join us live. We'll be live again next Wednesday. It gets published right away, so no post-production speed necessary. Join the show, and then you will immediately be on the internet. Richard, birthday boy, you're up. Tip, takeaway, homework assignment.
Yeah, really good conversation. Something that Scott said was making me think about what Cameron was saying as well, and that whole idea of improving processes. And I always think the best organization at doing that is McDonald's. And it started from, if you've seen the founder when they're on the tennis court looking at the processes, you think about how you order your food. It's gone from being a shoot to 2 people to touch screens to an app. They're always looking at improving processes. So how can we improve our post-production processes? Is what I was thinking about when Scott and Cameron were talking earlier. And if you are going to be quick, you need to make sure you're faster than 50 miles an hour. Bye, guys.
Brilliant. Well, thank you, everybody. Can't wait to get the first Bulgaria video up from the Black Sea, from Scott's team, from our team. Cam, thank you. Mike, thank you. Stover, thank you. Elizabeth, Maddie, Richard, Dean, Jason, Scott, and everyone that joined us. We appreciate you. We'll catch you all next Wednesday. Thank you.